Hello everyone, how are you all doing? Now today I'll be going through my match day 1 predictions as the championship starts on Friday, and it starts off with Huddersfield versus Burnley, and then we'll go through the Saturday fixtures and then on to the Sunday and Monday fixtures. So hopefully I can get a few right, but let's see what my predictions are. And so starting off with the Friday night kickoff at the John Smith Stadium, it goes Huddersfield versus Burnley. Two new managers who we don't really know what to expect yet. Obviously Burnley coming down from the Premier League, they've lost a lot of their better players. But Huddersfield on the other hand, Carlos Corberan's gone and some of their players which they had success with last season have gone away to other clubs. And so this one's quite a difficult one to predict, but I think with Burnley, I think that they will try and push on for the playoffs. Well, I mean, that's what you'd expect. And I think they might just be better than Huddersfield. And I think with it being the first game of the season and the Friday night kickoff, I think there'll be a few goals in this one. I'll go 3-1 to Burnley. And so Blackburn versus QPR. Two new managers coming in once again. John Dahl Thomason for Blackburn Rovers and Michael Beale for QPR. And with Blackburn last season, they started off the season okay, and then it went on to being great, and then it just slipped down quite a bit. But I think keeping Ben Brereton Diaz, that was massive for Blackburn this season. However, they have lost players like Darragh Lenihan and Joe Rothwell, but I think they'll be all right against the QPR side who, yeah, once again, you don't really know what to expect. Obviously, Michael Beale coming in from Aston Villa, he's worked under Steven Gerrard, so he'll have some experience of knowing how a manager should go about his business. But I think with QPR, I think they may struggle this season. But in this match against Blackburn, I'll go for a 1-1 draw. As for Blackpool versus Reading, this one's a bit more of a difficult prediction to do because I predicted both sides to struggle in the league this season. I think Reading, where they've got to improve, is definitely not conceding as many goals. I mean, last season they were conceding goals like there was no tomorrow. And so I think for Reading, that's going to be a tough ask to do under Paul Ince, who maybe isn't the best defensive manager, but I think both teams will struggle this season, but I think both teams will get off with 1 point each, and I'll go for a 1-1 draw. As for Cardiff, they're going up against Norwich City at the Cardiff City Stadium. With Norwich coming down from the Premier League, this is going to be a really tough fixture, and I think with Dean Smith as the manager as well, he is an effective manager. And I think this season Norwich will be going for glory and going for first place. And I think they will come off as winners in this match. Cardiff City, they've signed a lot of players. I would expect players like Ryan Alsop to start. I think he's a really good goalkeeper. And maybe even Callum O'Dowda, Romain Sawyers. I think they could be effective for Cardiff in this match. But I think Norwich will just prove a bit too much for Cardiff. And I'm going to go for a 2-0 Norwich City win. As for Hull up against Bristol City, I don't think this will be the most exciting match in the Championship this week. Hull with their new owners, they've brung in players, but how long will it take for those players to gel together and fit in the team? I mean, it could take a while, but we'll see how Hull City develop and try to make it so the team perform the best possible. As for Bristol City, I think Cal Naismith will play a big part in this Bristol City side this season. And I think he will get off to a clean sheet. I'm going to go with a 0-0 draw in this match. And so then up to Luton Town against Birmingham. Last season, Blues were absolutely incredible against Luton. I don't know what it was, but against Luton Town we just seemed to show up. At Kenilworth Road we beat them 5-0 and at St Andrews we beat them 3-0. And so I don't really know what to predict in this match. But I think Luton, they're going to want to go back and try to fight for the playoffs once again. Obviously going out against Huddersfield in the semi-finals, that's going to hurt. And I think this season Luton Town will be really strong. And I think in this match Luton Town will be strong as well. But I'm not too sure what to go with here, because Blues usually start off a season well and then we drop down a few places in the table. But I'm going to go for a 2-1 to Luton here and hope that I'm wrong. And so, Gary Rowett meets his old side when Millwall meets Stoke on Saturday. And I think this will be a pretty even match. I think Stoke this season will be a bit hard to call. I think they'll start off well and then they will just crumble a little bit. But I think against the Millwall side, who were strong at points this season, and at the Den on the first day of the season, it's never going to be easy. The Millwall fans always make it a fortress there, and I think Stoke will be put under pressure at some points, but I think they will come away with all 3 points here with just a narrow 1-0 win. And so Rotherham United go up against Swansea in their first match back in the Championship this season. Rotherham, they haven't really made any signings which are particularly exciting, and I do fear for them this season. I do think they will struggle. If you didn't see my Championship League predictions yesterday, I put them rock bottom in 24th place. But I don't think they'll be a boring team. I think they will score goals, and I think the fans will enjoy the football at points, but it's just whether they can keep it at a sustainable rate, which I fear for them. Against Swansea, under Russell Martin, they've brung in players just like Joe Allen, who will be a big part in the Swansea squad this season, I predict. And I think they may just get 3 points here at the New York Stadium, and I'm going to go 2-1 to Swansea. And so Wigan against Preston, I think this one will be quite an even match. Preston, they've lost quite a few of their players, but they've managed to bring some players in. And so with this Preston side, I'm still not too sure what to expect, just like any club at the start of the season. But I think with Preston, it's a bit more cloudy as such. I think Preston last season, they were a bit odd. You didn't really know what to expect from them each game. And so that's what makes Preston exciting, though. And Preston are one of those teams where, you know, they could win one time, then get thrashed the other time. But we'll see with Preston. Wigan against Preston, I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw there. I think Wigan, coming up from League One last season as champions, that will boost their confidence. And I think going into this season, Wigan will just about survive. And so a 2-2 draw is my prediction. And so on to the 5:30 kick-off on Saturday evening. Middlesbrough up against West Brom. I think that will be a really exciting match with two teams which are expected to be around the playoff area. West Brom, I said in the predictions video yesterday for the league, I'm still not convinced on Steve Bruce, but signings like Jed Wallace and John Swift, those will be crucial for West Brom this season. And I think going into this Middlesbrough match, I think that they maybe do have to play a bit more defensive against a Middlesbrough side who do like to attack. And we'll see how this one goes, but I think it will be an exciting match under the Sky cameras. And I think Middlesbrough will just nick it. I'm going to go with a 2-1 to Middlesbrough. As for Sunderland up against Coventry, some people may agree, some people may disagree with this prediction. But I think Sunderland, they will want to prove a point since their relegation from the Championship back in the 2017-18 season. Up against a Coventry side who were confident last season under Mark Robins. And I mean, even the season before that, there were glimpses of hope from the Coventry side, which survived in the Championship. Against Sunderland, who this season will probably aim for mid-table, and then they'll push on in the next few seasons, see where they can get. But I think in this one, I think just with it being played at the Stadium of Light and the atmosphere that they'll be there, I think Sunderland may just nick it. I think Coventry, they will have a good season this season, but I'm going to go with 1-0 Sunderland. As for Watford, they go up against Sheffield United at Vicarage Road in a game where you'd expect both teams to be pushing for automatic promotion this season. Sheffield United under Paul Heckingbottom, they look like a team which will fight for the automatic promotion. I've put them in second place. Last season under Paul Heckingbottom, I mentioned it yesterday, but they only lost 5 out of 27 games, which Paul Heckingbottom was in charge of in the Championship. Against a Watford side who came down from the Premier League last season, and let's be honest, they were abysmal. Not as bad as Norwich though. But Watford, whether there'll be a bit more negativity, there shouldn't be. They've kept a lot of their better players, and I think they will go for it in this one, but I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw, and hopefully both sides will do well this season. And so those were my match day 1 predictions. Hopefully I'm correct. I probably won't be, to be honest, but hopefully Blues can get a win, and hopefully some of my other predictions will be correct. But thank you all very much for watching the video. Saturday, Blues play Luton. There'll be a vlog out for that. Make sure you go and watch that, as I'm sure there'll be a few goals in that one, hopefully. And hopefully Blues can get the win in that one. But thank you all very much for watching, and keep right on, everyone.